So, what does it really take to be a great leader in this day and age? I came across this course curriculum. It's called Leadership Essentials, and it really tries to tackle that question head on. So, today, let's break down what's inside and see what it tells us about being a leader right now. And this is really the big question, isn't it? The course kicks off by putting this front and center. In the past, the answer might have been pretty straightforward. Have a strong vision, be decisive, have authority. But those old playbooks, they're just not cutting it anymore because the world of work has completely changed. And here's exactly why it's gotten so complicated. The whole course is built around these four modern challenges that, let's be honest, older leadership models just weren't designed for. We're talking about the rise of AI, managing teams that are digital first, really and truly building inclusive cultures, and of course, tackling the huge risk of burnout. This is the new landscape. Okay, so if that's the new frontier, how do you even begin to navigate it? Well, the course argues, and I think this is spot on, that you can't just rely on abstract theories. You need a practical, hands-on toolkit. So that's where we start, moving from just thinking about leadership to having actual tools you can use from day one. The whole toolkit is built on this really powerful idea: servant leadership. Now, this isn't about being in charge and giving orders. It's the complete opposite. It flips the whole script. The idea is that your main job as a leader is to serve the needs of your team. And when you think about those challenges like burnout or remote work, you can immediately see why this mindset is so critical. So from that core philosophy, we get into some really practical frameworks for, one of the biggest headaches for any leader: managing priorities. The course gives you two classic but very different models. You've got the Eisenhower matrix, which helps you sort your tasks by what's urgent versus what's important. And then you've got the Pareto principle, the classic 80-20 rule, which helps you find the 20% of effort that's going to give you 80% of the results. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. And the toolkit doesn't just stop at your personal to-do list. It scales all the way up to getting your entire team aligned. That's why it also covers OKRs, objectives and key results. It's a fantastic framework for making sure everyone in the boat is rowing in the same direction. So it's really a full suite of tools, from managing your own day to guiding the whole organization. But look, we all know that tools and frameworks, they're only half the story. The next part of this course dives into what is, without a doubt, the most important and probably the hardest part of leadership: the human side of things. And just look at the skills they cover here. It's basically the entire employee life cycle. It starts with getting the right people in the door by mastering the interview process. It covers the daily grind of giving feedback that actually helps people improve. But then it also goes to the really tough stuff, like how to handle layoffs with real empathy. And I gotta say, I love that last one: leading yourself first. It's this recognition that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to manage yourself before you can effectively lead anyone else. So how in the world do you learn these crucial human skills? Well, it's definitely not by just sitting there and listening to a lecture. The whole method here is about getting your hands dirty. Yeah, sure, there are some mini lectures to give you the core concepts, but the real learning, that happens when you're digging into real-world case studies, practicing those tough conversations through role play, and sharing your own experiences with the group. That's how this stuff actually sinks in. All right, so we've got the tools, we've got the people skills, we've done the role playing. Where is this all headed? We're now at the final, and honestly the most personal part of the whole program. This is where everything is designed to come together. What's the point of learning all these different frameworks and skills? The course is super clear that the goal isn't just to collect a bunch of techniques. The final goal is synthesis. It's about weaving all of those separate threads into one single, cohesive tapestry. And there it is, the big finish. The ultimate goal of this entire course is for every single person to craft their own personal leadership narrative. It's about finally being able to answer the question, who am I as a leader? It's not about copying some famous CEO's style. It's about defining your own authentic identity, built from everything you've just learned. Okay, so how do they actually structure this journey from learning about toolkits to creating your own personal story? It's all packed into a really intense 5-day track. Let's just walk through what that week looks like. You can really see how thoughtfully this is all laid out. The week kicks off on Monday with the foundations, the core ideas. Then Tuesday, you get practical with time and priority tools. Wednesday is a deep dive into all those crucial people skills. Thursday, you tackle the big modern challenges head-on: AI, burnout, the works. And it all leads up to Friday, where everything you've learned becomes personal, and you present your own leadership narrative. It's a perfect arc from learning to true application. So let's hit some of the key logistics real quick. First up, this is an intensive 5-day curriculum. So this isn't just a quick webinar you pop into. It's a full week dedicated to really digging in and growing. Second, and this is so important for how it works, each class is capped at just 10 people. That's what guarantees it feels like a workshop, not a lecture hall. It means there's tons of room for personal feedback, for real discussion. And finally, the document lists the total investment for this 5-day experience at 1,490 euros. But really, beyond all the numbers and the schedules, the real point is the final question this whole course leaves you with. So, after breaking all this down, we end up right back where we started, with the same powerful question the course asks its students. It really suggests that being a great leader, it's not about the frameworks you use or the style you try to copy. It's about the story you tell with your actions, day in and day out. So let me ask you, if you had to tell your leadership story, what would it be?